Hi bakers, I'm Sally, and today I'm showing you how to make one of the easiest and most popular bread recipes on my website. This is my homemade artisan bread. If you've never made homemade bread or worked with yeast before, this is the perfect beginner recipe. It only requires 4 ingredients, there's no special equipment needed, no kneading, and most of the time is hands-off. Let me walk you through each step. The 4 ingredients you need are bread flour, instant yeast, salt, and water. Let's whisk those dry ingredients together first. Because there are so few ingredients used, each one serves a very important function. Normally in yeast bread recipes, I encourage you to use warm liquid to activate the yeast, but with this recipe, I want you to use room temperature or cool water. The cooler the water, the longer the dough takes to rise, and usually the better the flavor. And that's important in a dough that has so few ingredients. I'm just folding everything together with a regular spatula. You can use a big wooden spoon too. No need to pull out the mixer for this dough. While you can absolutely use all-purpose flour here, I encourage you to use bread flour because bread flour will produce a stronger, chewier bread. At first, the dough may seem very dry and shaggy, like it's not coming together, but just keep working it, and you can ditch the spatula or spoon and use your hands instead if needed. I'm just carefully working this dough to bring all of those ingredients together. Even though it's only 4 ingredients, one of the ingredients you definitely want to make sure you don't miss is the salt, and I recommend using coarse salt. Once all the flour is moistened, bring the dough into a ball as best you can, and then we'll cover it tightly, set it aside at room temperature for 2 to 3 hours. The dough will just about double in size during this time. Once it's covered tightly, let it rise at room temperature for 3 hours. After 3 hours, you can immediately proceed with the recipe, but for absolute best taste and texture, I strongly recommend refrigerating this dough for at least 12 hours and up to 3 days. The cold air will slow the yeast's fermentation process and add the best flavor. I love that this recipe has flexibility, so you can start the dough on one day and finish it up whenever's most convenient. Let me get this in the fridge. I've already made a batch ahead of time. This one has been in the refrigerator for 18 hours, so I can go ahead and shape the loaves. To get it ready for the dough, flour your baking sheet generously. You could also use cornmeal for this step. All right, set that aside. Going to flour the work surface too. Be generous with it. This is a very sticky dough. Pour the dough out onto the floured work surface. This looks beautiful. It's very sticky. You want to be as gentle with it as possible. Flour your hands. We can shape this dough into a round bowl or 2 longer loaves, which is how I usually make it. For the 2 longer loaves, cut the dough in half, and I'm using a floured bench scraper here. Try not to overwork the dough when you're shaping it. I'm just being real gentle and shaping it into 2 longer loaves here. It's 1, transfer it to your floured baking sheet, and the second one. And we will cover both of these and let them rest because we just worked with them so much for about 45 minutes at room temperature. During this time, preheat the oven to a very hot 475 degrees Fahrenheit. The very high heat will help set the bread's crust almost immediately, encouraging it to rise up instead of spreading out. Okay, these are ready. Right before baking, score the loaves, which means make a few shallow cuts into the top, which will give steam a place to escape and the bread can expand. If the shaped loaves flattened out during those 45 minutes, you can flour your hands and gently reshape them. All right, these are ready for the oven. Now this is optional, but to ensure a crispier crust, when you're ready to bake the bread, you can pour boiling water into a metal or cast iron baking pan on the bottom rack. Immediately place the baking sheet with the bread on the middle rack and shut the oven door to trap the steam inside. This steam will help create that crisp crust. The bread takes about 20 to 25 minutes to bake. You're looking for a golden brown color. To check for doneness, you can give the loaves a light tap. If they sound hollow, they're done. If you want to be precise, you can check the internal temperature with an instant read thermometer. The bread is done when it reaches 195 degrees Fahrenheit. These are golden brown, they're done. Give them 20 minutes to set before slicing. And that's it, 4 very simple ingredients to make delicious homemade bread. I hope this video gives you confidence to try baking bread from scratch. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you feel inspired to try a new baking recipe today. Head over to my website for the full written recipe and all of my success tips. You can also ask a question right there on the recipe page, and my team and I will be happy to answer.